Ladies and gentlemen, CoronaCon 2020, we are in the building. If you have been watching, you have been enjoying some amazing content for some phenomenal individuals and, real super dope. Um, it was amazing to have Ananda Lewis on. Like, this whole thing has just been superb. Really, really shout outs to my team, man. My team has really been working hard in order to make it work. So I couldn't be happier. And for me, it's about not only the celebrities, but about the true craftsmen and women who are coming with amazing information and are putting themselves in a position to help folks, because that's the main thing, and I want the main thing to be the main thing. And so my man Chad Harrigan is in the building, and
Yeah.
Chad is an amazing coach, counselor. He's got amazing life lessons, and we're going to talk about hope on demand, because right now I think above all else,
That's what we
people
need.
need hope. What
That's
up,
what we
Chad?
need. What's going on, sir? How are you?
Man, I'm here, bro. What I'm saying, got the
Good.
studio lights in my face.
Hey, I'm trying to be like you. I got my little light.
Oh
You
man,
know.
listen, you can listen. The Amazon will sell these to you too, bro.
That's right. Got my little kit.
Hey man, let me tell you something. What's the mug say? You're
You're
awesome.
awesome. Keep that shit up.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's right.
Keep it funky over here.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys have questions, you can ask your questions in the group, or go to coronacon.live and put the questions in the group, or anywhere you're watching right now. If you're watching on Business Bully TV, we are streaming live. I'm looking at the stream from my house right now, so I can actually see. Yeah, you're on national TV, Chad. Look at you. Congratulations.
Hey, that's what's up.
Winning. So, let's talk about hope. And if you want to talk about hope, we also need to talk about the feelings of hopelessness that people might be having. You
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
this. And I know a lot of people are feeling hopeless. So, what's on your brain right now? What's going on in your head?
So what I'm getting a lot, because everybody's on work from home from all these big tech companies, and they make up the majority of my clients. And the thing I'm getting a lot are people with nobody else in their house, so they're lonely. People who have spent maybe 2 hours with their kids a day, and now their kids are always there. People that maybe spend an hour or two with their spouse, and now they never leave. So you're getting all this stress, you're getting all this frustration, you're
Mm-hmm.
getting all this loneliness because the people that are by themselves, all they can do now is face them. There's nobody to talk to unless you're working. There's nobody to call or to get on with Facebook. You got to deal with all this shit that you've been using work to escape from.
Mm. No
The big
escape.
thing about, pardon?
I said, yeah, there's no escape, bro. Like, you, everywhere you go, boom, there's
Exactly.
something.
Exactly. And the big thing about hope is that everybody's stuck on, I'll let you know a Jedi mind trick.
Mhm.
It really doesn't matter how you feel. Everybody gets stuck on feelings. So if you guys are okay, I'm just going to be very transparent right now, if that's all right. So I'll tell a bit of my story. I'll talk about hope, um, and really what I talk about in my book, Hope on Demand. And then we'll get into actually the process of how to create hope.
Right.
Okay. So let's see. 2014, a little bit after October 9th, I'm in my mother's house, and it's probably 3 months after my son died.
Hmm.
And so the thing that defined my life so wonderfully is just gone. And I don't see myself as a dad anymore. At this point, I'm totally broken.
Hmm.
I had to watch as a team of medical professionals fight desperately to save my son. And all I can do is stand outside at the door, feeling helpless, powerless,
Mm.
and ineffective as a father.
Mm.
No hope. Absolutely none. Hope is a noun.
Mhm.
So Webster's defines hope as the feeling that we have that something we expect will happen. Hope is the promise of something greater. Hope says, I think I can. We got this interesting existential connection to the feeling of hope. It is why we love superhero movies, why the Avengers sell so much money, why The Notebook. God knows why people still watch that movie, but it's why The Notebook is so popular. We love to see the romantic couples fight to be in love and then finally get together. It's why we love The Underdog. Rudy, that movie, for some reason, is a classic. People love that. So hope says that my future can be greater than my past. There's actually research that indicates that hope helps us deal with stress, trauma, anxiety, depression. Hopeful people feel like they can have a positive outcome on themselves and their situations. Our ability to hope is actually directly correlated with our level of resilience in the face of stress and trauma against the world around us. What's interesting is the way hope affects the brain. So there's an almond-shaped structure in your medial temporal lobe called the amygdala. It's involved in emotion. It causes the brain to release neurochemicals, endorphins, and something called enkephalins. The combination of those two actually mimic morphine. So
Mm.
you know they give you morphine after surgery.
Right.
Morphine changes the way your body feels in response to pain. It allows you to move to an optimal state where you can heal faster.
Mm.
Pain puts such tension and stress on the body, sometimes it makes it hard or almost impossible for the body to heal. So morphine blocks that pain and allows the body to relax, hence optimal state, faster healing.
Dope.
The result is that the brain can overcome hurdles and move to a place of recovery. There have actually been about 2,000 scientific studies about the science and psychology of hope. And in all of them, every single one, hope is the number one predictor of a life well lived after trauma. It is the single best predictor of well-being compared to any other measure of trauma recovery.
Mm.
So, all right, hope is great. It's wonderful. It feels warm and fuzzy. So, like you brought up, what about hopelessness? So the opposite of hope is actually despair.
Mm.
And despair is deep discouragement, loss of faith, and one's ability to find meaning, fulfillment, happiness, agency to create a satisfactory future for yourself.
Right.
Webster's Dictionary. Clinical despair, conceptualized as a profound existential hopelessness, helplessness, powerlessness, a pessimism about life, the future, and your ability to do anything about it. So let's go back to my story. I'm sitting in my mom's house in my room where I've locked myself in for 30 days, haven't slept for about 60. I've got a bottle of pills in my hand, and I'm just thinking, I can make all of this disappear real quick. And a thought comes to my mind. Is this the way I'm going to honor my son? Is this the man I wanted him to see growing up? So I got to do something at this point. I've got nothing but negative energy, nothing but nightmares and memories that I can't escape. And I've got to find some way to channel that into something positive. So a weird thing is, we had left Texas, moved to Alabama where my parents live. Lexi got a job, my wife, about an hour from the house. And we're listening to these podcasts on how to do a business. I had a mobile app company before my son passed. And when he died, I just didn't have it to deal with people. So I shut it down, got rid of everybody, all my clients, stopped dealing with folks. And I realized I had to get back into the world somehow. So we start listening to podcasts. It's something positive for us to focus on. Start exercising. It's something positive for us to focus on. I get into therapy. I get into coaching. Therapy helps me survive. Coaching helps me thrive and start seeing possibilities. Now we're getting somewhere. As I'm going through learning how to be a coach, dealing with people and finding them at the worst days of their life, I'm walking people through this process. And one thing I discover, hope isn't just a noun, hope is also a verb. So this is where we move from feeling hope to doing hope. This is where we talk about fuck your feelings. What if you do the things that hopeful people do and you can start believing in yourself, believing that there's hope by watching yourself do the things successfully. And it doesn't take much. It just takes baby steps. It only takes a little bit to go along. It takes one block to walk a mile. There's this movie on Amazon Prime called Brittany Runs a Marathon. Fat, sloppy white girl, stoner, works at the same job she worked at since high school, terrible relationship with her parents, no boyfriend, all this kind of stuff. They paint a really great picture. One day she has this neighbor that she hates because the neighbor always exercises. And the lady says something to her that kind of sparks, well, maybe you could do the same thing for you instead of being so upset with me. So she gets out, puts on some Chucks, got her little exercise outfit from Target. She goes and says, I'm just gonna run one block. That's the most I'm gonna do. She gets to the end of the block and runs another block. Before she knows it, she's run 4 blocks all the way back around to her house. It only takes 1 block to run 1 mile. Then she runs an actual marathon. Great big story, finds all her dreams, everything's wonderful.
Right.
So when we get to the science of hope, the psychology of hope, now we're talking about an actual formula for hope, a process. So I break it down into 3 parts: clarity, strategy, activity. So clarity's what your goals, your storytelling, your visualization. This is where awareness is king. This part is actually where we spend some of the biggest amount of time, because you've got to know what that feels like. What's it going to feel like to have done what I'm trying to do, to become that person I'm trying to be, to achieve that thing I'm going after, to have solved this problem? What am I going to be thinking, feeling, and doing differently? What's going to be better about my life after I put all this time and effort in? Who am I as a person? What is it going to take for me to get from here to there? I'm messed up. I've got these bad habits. I procrastinate. I may be taking this, taking that, abusing this, abusing that. I'm lazy. I really don't give a crap. I really don't believe that I can do it because I've never done anything like it before, or I've tried and I keep getting knocked down. So what's going to make the difference now? And it's about spending the time and analyzing all that and really digging deep into what makes you tick and figuring out, where we move into strategy, the pathway from who you are to where you want to be, and then identifying the challenges that get in the way. Because for most people, once a challenge comes up, that's when they stop. That's when they quit, because they have these mismanaged expectations that it's supposed to just be easy. It's supposed to flow. I'm a parent that has never spent an entire 24 hours with my kid. I feel like shit as a parent, because since I'm the mom or I'm the dad, this should be easy. It should just happen. Forget the fact that I don't have a master's in childhood development and education. Forget the fact that I don't know how to teach. Forget the fact that I don't understand this new math or the science or any of that stuff. I'm just supposed to automatically be able to step into it. And because I don't, I feel terrible about myself because I'm the problem. And I totally forget there's actually reality that I have to address. and take into context. There's other things going on. It's not just about me and how I'm feeling about myself. So when we identify the challenges, now we've got to figure out how to work around them, how to push through them. Remember, hopelessness is about feeling like you're stuck, like you're out of options. You have no opportunities. There are no possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
So when we identify those and we figure out the ways around them and the ways through them, because sometimes you have to push through.
Right.
Now we start to see these things as challenges and not obstacles. And if you pay attention to the language, an obstacle is like an insurmountable fortress. It's impenetrable. It's unbreakable. A challenge, however, a challenge is different. A challenge makes you feel like, oh, so we want to compete. There's the phrase challenge accepted. You never hear anybody say obstacle accepted. Neurolinguistically, it presents a totally different approach to this. Then we move to action. And this is, what is this going to look like in real life? Once I take it out of my head, I felt all my warm, fuzzy feelings. I've imagined myself running up the stairs and doing my Rocky chant, and the music is played. When you're done coaching with me and you're back in your house or you're off the call and it's just you in your apartment, what are you going to do? How are you going to get started? What's actually going to happen? If we don't take the time to break down all the steps, then you're going to feel like you did all this work and hoping and getting excited and hyped up for nothing. Because all you're going to do is put the clothes on. You won't work out, but you're going to sit on the couch and watch people exercise. Mm-hmm. Watch Netflix. Binge watch a whole season of Ozark. And the thoughts that are going to go through your head, and Ozark's a good show. The thoughts that are going to go through your head is, I know what to do. I just won't get my fat ass off the couch and do anything. So of course I feel hopeless because I can't trust myself. I can't even keep my word. So why am I going to believe me? You want to know something interesting? Your brain can't tell the difference between yourself and another person when it's lied to. All your brain knows is, I can't trust that person, even if that person is you.
So how do you fix that?
Right. No wonder you don't feel hope.
Damn.
You know how many times you've broken your word to yourself? Forget the negative thoughts and feelings that come into your head and they're trying to tell you a narrative that's not true. And we're wondering whose voice that is. Is that your dad's, the coaches, the teachers, the bullies? You can be your biggest hindrance, your biggest problem. So if that's all that's going through your head, how are you supposed to feel hope? It's not the external challenges that are stopping me, it's me. Now what do I do? So we've got to take the feeling out of it. And look, hope as a feeling is really powerful. It's amazing. But we've got to take the feelings and detach ourselves a bit, give ourselves some space to breathe and actually use some reason and really see what's reality from what's just our feelings. Because all anxiety is, all hopelessness is a reaction. It's not actually reality. Anxiety is a response to a perceived threat, the threats that we think are there. But we've got to decipher, are these thoughts or feelings, or is this real? So hope isn't just for perfect people. It isn't for people that already have their lives together. Hope is for progressing. The thing for me was I had to watch myself go from wanting to kill myself and take my life and trying to not wanting to die so much. I didn't just go from automatically wanting to commit suicide to everything's great and honky-dory. It was a process, a long one. I still go to therapy. I still have a coach. I still have those thoughts and feelings. I still struggle with that. But being able to walk myself through a process and see me actually follow through on small stuff helped build me up and helped give me the hope that I needed, that I can do the big things. I can actually make the stuff I really want to have happen come to fruition in my life. I don't have to sit there and watch everybody else on Instagram do and the things that I think they're doing with themselves, make the money I think they're making, and then feel shitty about me and wonder why that can't happen for me and spend an entire day ruminating about what's wrong with me as a person.
Can I say something real quick?
Mm-hmm.
That feeling never goes away.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like I remember, and I'll never forget this as long as I live. A buddy of mine who now works with me, Rick Party. When I was a kid, Rick was like the number one DJ in Chicago, and he would have these conversations where he'd be mentoring me and telling me different things. And he'd ask me questions, and he said, "Well, how much money do you think you need to make in order to feel like you made it?" And keep in mind, this is a good 25 years ago, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
huh, if I make 40,000, man, listen, it's over with. And
Mm-hmm.
he damn near fell out his chair. And I'm like, why are you laughing at me? Like 40,000 is a lot of money. He was like, yeah, right now it's just you. He said, you know what's gonna happen when you make 40,000? I was like, no. He's like, you're gonna have the lifestyle of somebody who makes 40,000. Even if you're smart with your money, you had a lifestyle of somebody that makes 30,000, it's going to change. It's the feeling of making it is not the money, and it's also never going to be enough. And even, at this level, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing well. Like I'm doing well, but there's still like I remember when I was in college, and I would listen to Andre 3000, and he said, y'all think it's sweet, but if you don't move your feet, then we don't eat. So we like neck and neck.
Neck.
You know what I'm saying? In
Yeah.
comparison to somebody who's
You like check to check.
right. And that's the thing. Like y'all, it's sweet. Yeah, oh yeah, TV network, cool. Oh, celebrity friends, cool. Magazines and all that other stuff. But yeah, my agency doesn't do $500 million like Vaynerchuk's. I don't have, I don't have the funds to go ahead and tell everybody to 10x and rent out a stadium. So there's always going to be there's always going to be some level. Like it
Mm-hmm.
never stops. And what I've realized is, there's no win in comparison. So you know what I do?
Blinders.
Blinders, bro. Because if I
Stay
get
in your
caught up in
lane.
listen, I love Gary, but if I get caught up in what Vaynerchuk's doing, I'm never going to feel,
Mm-mm.
that what I'm doing is making an impact. But when, I look at my clients and they're like, hey, I'm retired, thanks to you, or I got my husband back thanks to you,
Yeah.
or, you told me this one thing and it's changed the course of my business, you know, I just it's literally like you were saying, one block for me, it's literally one win at a time, you
Exactly.
know, because like there's no happiness in trying to get to the final level. Because I'm gonna tell you, when you get to the final level, you're dead. That's what's waiting for you, death.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to focus. And I mean, I could be wrong. You're the expert, but I feel like we need to focus on right now, because right now is the only thing we have. We never make tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes, because by the time you wake up tomorrow, it's going to be today.
Mm-hmm.
And
You're
then today
absolutely right,
yesterday.
though. You're absolutely right. So when we talk about internal challenges, like the downloadable that I created for people is about learning to trust yourself again, and it's one of the internal challenges. And the thing we spend a lot of time talking about is anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety is not just a reaction, but anxiety is all about worrying about the future or the past.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite of that is intuition. And that's about the present. That's about what's going on now. That's about being able to trust your gut. That's about believing yourself. You're a person I know goes with their gut. I'm going to say 99% of the time.
Yeah, I would say 99.9. Because here's the thing: when I was a kid, my mom used to, like, it's funny at this age, the things that my parents said to me that I was just like, fuck out of here. Now, like, it makes sense. My mom would say,
Yeah.
always go with your first mind. Your first mind will never do you,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And like my first mind has never failed me. And anytime I started to teeter or veer off or compromise on that, it has cost me,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily from a monetary perspective, but it's cost me time, headaches.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what I do, is very stressful. Running a business, helping 45 plus other people run theirs, and then there's private clients and all that stuff. So I have to make a bunch of really,
Yeah.
important decisions, and all of those decisions impact people. And even if I make those decisions and make the right decisions, like for me, it's not my ability to why do I feel like I just got sucked into a therapy session? Okay, let's roll with it. But it's not my ability to make the right decisions all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's my ability, it's the ability of someone. I have to depend on the client to actually execute.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you were to tell me, like, you've struggled with weight like I've struggled with weight,
Mm-hmm.
and you've lost a lot of weight, I've lost a lot of weight, and sometimes I teeter. I ain't got down to like skinny Luther, because I saw what happened with that. I'm about to do this 28
You
day
got 28 days. You got
fast,
28 days for it.
yeah. So we count down to Mayday, because it's gonna be real. Like, we camera crew get ready to hold on. But the point of it is, right, I know for a fact that things are dependent upon me actually, you know eating the right foods, moving enough,
Mm-hmm.
hydrating myself, working my body out, getting adequate rest, making sure
Mm-hmm.
I'm practicing my breathing, doing things that are going to keep me motivated in order to take the pounds off. And sometimes I feel like people don't understand that. I don't care who you go to.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not going to do the work, no amount of knowledge, no amount of plan means anything. There are architects who have literally drawn buildings for cities that you've never seen
Ever.
and you won't see.
Ever.
You know.
One of the most common things that people do now, and I used to think it was just me,
Mm,
but we've become social media has made us a nation of collectors, and we collect knowledge. It's like intellect porn. And we have all these stashes of all this really great information that we don't do shit with,
mm,
because it's that whole concept that me watching the person do the thing makes me feel the feelings like I did the thing, instead of actually getting off my ass and doing the thing and really knowing what it feels like. Because when you talk to another person that's actually done the thing that you've watched, their whole perspective on the same situation is totally different.
mm,
So let me ask you this. When did you actually, because you've kind of talked to me about some of your story,
mm.
when did you actually start really trusting your judgment and trusting your gut?
That is a great question. Um, I honestly have. There's a movie. I'm answering your question because I don't want you to think I'm avoiding your question, but this is important. There's a movie um called Falling Down with Michael Douglas. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Mm-mm.
Regular guy, has a regular job, regular wife, you know, nothing particularly spectacular about the guy. He was talented in what he did, but overall it was just the same thing day in, day out, day in, day out. And he just gets to a point where this particular day, everybody just picked a wrong day to start fucking with him. And
Mm.
he snapped. And from him snapping, things just began to manifest, some good, some bad.
Mhm.
And for me, I started trusting my judgment, um, like wholly, not like, because there have been times where like it's been proven to me and I saw it, but I still didn't feel it.
Mhm.
But wholly, I said, you know, my last straw was December. It was December 11th, 2011. that is the day I got let go from what you now know as iHeart. And what I saw were people taking my ideas and running with them, passing them off as their own, or removing my name from the idea. Or my favorite, because this is the psychological con job society will do. They'll tell you it's a stupid idea and then they'll go and do it.
Mm.
Mhm. So what I realized was when I did the math, I was making other people millions of dollars and I wasn't even cracking six figures.
Mm.
And I was like, you know what? I've lived in well over 17 states, but I know 17 different ways to pack a U-Haul effectively, and I'm not a mover. And I'm tired of moving. I'm tired of people telling me, I've got an attitude problem. I'm difficult. And the truth of the matter is, it's not that I'm difficult, it's just that I don't tolerate bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so once I realized that they're making all this money, and I couldn't, every station, every radio station I would go to, or every radio company I would work for, they would always have the salespeople say, "Hey, why don't you go take him with you?" And I go because like I like to go on the sales calls. And then I'm real like in hindsight, I'm like, yo, these sons of bitches is making 20% commission. The station's over here, getting an easy 10, 30, 50, $60,000 check. I'm not getting any of this money. I'm putting these things in place. I'm setting things up. And I'm like, I know how to do all of these things.
Yeah.
And once I put everything together from you know my time with making Red Bull a national brand, to the stuff I did with Wendy, and the stuff I did with Clue, and then the stuff I did with Les, and then the stuff I did with Ricky, and all of these different things, like it started to like I started to really just start to form Voltron in my head, and I was like, yo, I've done a lot of really diverse shit, and I made a whole
Mm-hmm.
lot of people a lot of money, and I've sat at the feet of some of the greatest minds I could ever possibly know. It's time to start cashing out on this. I
Yeah.
don't know how I'm going to get there, but in the meantime, I'm going to do something that I love. And at that point, I said, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. Wherever it leads is wherever it leads, and that's where we are. I go from wanting to be, the world's greatest youth speaker to, helping people's parents. And so,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I started. So I would say December 11th, 2011 is when I really, really trusted myself. And now it's like you can't, at this point, less than 10 years in, you can't argue with results.
Nah.
So the
Nah.
more results I have, now I'm a results addict.
And
Like
that's a good thing.
I'm addicted to results. Like I'm addicted to, you know, people not because when you're black and you're straight and you're male in this industry,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you don't get the same type of respect as some of my pom pom wielding peers, or some of my white peers, or some and this is no shade, this is not a sexual thing, it's just the truth, some of my LGBTQ brethren. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because think about how
Mm-hmm.
many straight black male coaches do you know? Go. Other than you and I.
I only know two.
See? Notice how I didn't flinch when I asked that question. I
Mm-hmm.
knew it was less than five. Of those, how many of them have ever gotten eight figures in client revenue for their clients in a year?
Two.
See? I'm a minority inside a minority inside a minority inside of a vast industry.
Yeah.
So I go
Yeah.
from being a raisin and buttermilk in corporate America, you know, to being, the rah-rah guy who's walking with a clipboard instead of pom-poms
Mm-hmm.
in the coaching society. But yeah, why'd you ask that question? It's a good question.
Well, one of the things that I'd like to really pay attention to is you, I came to you based on watching you for a really long time.
You know what? A lot of my most successful clients always say that.
Yeah, I watched you for like is a good year or two. And I would always see you and I'd be like, okay. And then one day you were like, hey, here's the pitch. And I was like, you know what? Let me just see what he has to say. And the only reason that we said yes to your pitch was on the strength of you believing yourself made me feel like, okay. Because when people are all talk and they kind of know they have something, or they're not sure if they have something, but they're saying the stuff they hear other people say, it's a different feeling. You could say the same words.
Mm.
You could say it at the same volume.
Mm.
You could say it with the same intensity.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to feel different from somebody that actually trusts themselves and believes in what they're saying. Mm-hmm. Somebody that drinks their own Kool-Aid, so to speak.
It's red.
There you go.
It's delicious. Let me tell you something. No, man, like I and me and Vayner had this conversation a lot. Like, I was always told, like, I can do it. Like, what is impossible? What you mean hard? Like, it's hard. Like, I'm not a machine. I got feelings and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. But my whole thing is, right, I got a grandfather, my God rest his soul, who was, and if you've heard this story, people might not know. My grandfather grew up in Virginia, and he got into it with the wrong Klansmen on the right night. And he was about 16 years old, and they were going to come and lynch him. So he ran through the night and found his way to a naval recruitment station and signed up, lied about his age. Thank God there was no internet back then, and he went to the Navy. You know what I'm saying? And then when he got out of the Navy, he took a tailor class across the way in the same building that tailor class was. There was a teaching certification course happening. At the time that course was happening, there was like a break, and I don't know if there was lunch or whatever. The details aren't important. But this woman sends her best friend over to talk to my grandfather, to kind of, play hookup, and she's like, hey, listen, my friend would really like to talk to you. And my grandfather was like, yeah, I'm not really interested in her. And she was like, okay. He was like, but you, on the other hand. And 8 months later, they were married. And 9 months later, I think my Uncle Jimmy popped out. Another 10, 12 months after that, my mama popped out. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, the level of confidence, like, I come from people that, spit shine and sharecropped and, was on farms. And it's like, if they can survive all of those things, and my aunts and uncles and my mom, coming up in the projects, and me coming up in the hood sharing bathwater with my brother, like, I don't ever want to go back to that. And I remember being homeless and saying, I'll never want to go back to that. Yeah. And I was like, the only way this is going to work, I started researching like different things that were impossible or death defying. Mm-hmm. Like I've read like 5 or 6 books on Evel Knievel. I studied like, I can't think of the guy's name, but the French dude that walked across from like the
tightrope guy.
Yeah, the tightrope guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, the thing of it is, the majority of people who fall on a tightrope are people who have a net beneath them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then I read these stories. Some of them they say are folklore. Some of them they say are factual about, explorers that would burn the boats. So there was no alternative. I'm proud of this. I've turned down 27 radio jobs. 27. Because I'm not going back. Like, this is all I'm going to do. And my life has gotten progressively better each and every year. My team has expanded each and every year. We're growing. Is everything perfect? No, but like, man, if I didn't make that choice, you know what I'm saying? Like, I
love that. I'm gonna tell you why I love that story so much, especially when you get to talking about burning the boats. Mm-hmm. Did you know the Latin root of the word decision actually means to cut off?
I did not.
So when you decide, you cut off other options. That's what it means to make a decision. Mm. And when you think about using that as a metaphor, then I've got to cut myself off from things out of my past in order to even give myself the space to see what's possible in the future. I love that so much. I feel that. I did restaurants for 12 years. I traveled. I around the country opening restaurants, was a kind of consulted and helped small restaurants open up. And I loved it, but it nearly killed me. One of the reasons I'm
Wow.
doing what I'm doing now is because like literally it was wearing my body down, you know, but it would always be the thing that I fell back on when other stuff didn't work out because I was good at it. But being good at it and having that as an option kept me from really putting all my eggs in the other baskets. And what could have happened if I had really put my eggs in these other baskets? If I really turned my focus in this direction and just went all in. And so now, you know, I'm doing better and growing in an area I never even saw as an option for my life. And I love it more than I loved anything I've ever done. I've had record deals, I've toured overseas, I've recorded albums, I've done all that shit. It was great. It was fun. But had I known about this back then, and had I known I would love it as much as I do now, I would have stopped all that a long time ago.
Listen, bro. Listen. I'll be the first to tell people like the stuff that people think is fun is some of the most heart wrenching, disappointing,
Hmm.
difficult shit in the world. Like there's music of mine that you'll never see. Never. It's shelved. You'll never see it. I'll never get it. Can't sing it. Can't perform it. Can't do nothing with it. The industry is crazy. That's why I had Paul Porter on a couple of days ago, and we were just talking about how the game goes. You
Hmm.
know, and it's crazy that people don't live the life they want because they're so busy doing this. Well, if in fact the aliens come and abduct us, or if like people might say this, fuck people. People are going to talk about you anyway. That's why I just embrace the shit. Oh, you don't like me? Fuck you anyway. I'm still me. Now what?
There you go.
Now how's your cubicle feel? You waiting for that stimulus check. If I had to wait on a $1,250 check, I'd shoot myself. And that's not me. I'm not talking about poor.
No, I
I'm
get
talking
you.
about the poor in mind.
I
I'm not
get you.
talking about poor people. I'm not talking about people who have had extenuating, horrible circumstances. I'm talking about people who have much more talent, much more ability, but a whole lot less drive than what I have. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
to me, I'm like, I'm happy every day. I wear what I want. No one's telling me what to wear, what to do. Listen, bro, and this is another thing. I I would take gigs. I talked to Mark Cuban years ago, and he said the one thing that you can do, like whatever you do, don't go back to school. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, if you're going to learn something, get somebody to pay you. I say, wait, what? He was like, take the job that will teach you the skills and the talents that you want to develop,
Hmm.
and then they'll pay you for that. Don't just take a job because you need a job. Yo, get a job if you need a job so that you can build what you need to build, but get something out of it. I don't care if it's a certification, it's a tip. Like he
Yeah.
said, the best things, and I learned this very early on. Like I'm damn near, listen, when Rona goes off, real rap, I'm gonna try and get a job at Chick-fil-A. I just want to see their process, their operating manual, not from the food perspective, but from the culture. I
Hmm.
want that culture because that culture is dope, and that's what people don't understand. So I went and took a gig at Comcast in their SaaS department. SaaS, for you technical people don't know what SaaS is. That's software as a
As a
service.
service.
Yeah, I know they don't. And so they have a lot of partnerships, and that I'm talking to one of the chief operators from Microsoft, and he's teaching me all about OneDrive, and he's telling me about the servers, and I'm just oh, I get to take these books home. Cool. Got them upstairs right now in a snap box. Read them cover to cover, keep them just in case I need something. So I'm at my desk, and I go to the bathroom, and there's this ditzy broad. And I said what I said, and I said it exactly how I meant it. This has nothing to do with any other woman, but this particular broad acting like a woman was ditzy. She came up to me, uh, you're having too many bio breaks. I was like, what the hell is a bio break, Linda? Well, that's when you go to the bathroom. I'm like, you're monitoring how many times I go to the bathroom? She's like, well, yeah, because we have to deal with productivity and da 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 da. I was like, wow, that's so funny. I can't wait to tell Dana. She said, who's Dana? Your wife? I said, no, Dana's my attorney, because that's like 3 or 4 HIPAA violations off top.
Mm.
And she was like, oh. And then to me, like that backed her off of me. But that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is, as a man, like even in high school, I was a dude that I was like, I swear to God, if I ever make it to manhood, because I went to rough school, I was like, if I don't get shot and if I make it out of here, I'm gonna wear a hat every time I show up in a high school, and I'm gonna chew a wad of gum. I'm not gonna take no fucking pass to go to the bathroom. Like, I got things about, I don't like someone controlling my life. I
Mm.
don't
Mm.
I don't like supervisors. Like, I gotta think
Mm.
about that. Like, I don't like having anybody call me boss. And for me, it's like, why do you break your neck to hold on to something that no longer fits you? I swear to God, like, I have told people way before there was a corona situation, like, I don't care. You think your business is recession proof, your job is recession proof, you need to have another skill.
Something.
You need to have something, you know.
Something.
And if you understood the tax codes, you would understand the importance of having a business so that you can get different types of write-offs, so that you won't be waiting around for a check. If you're waiting around for a refund check, you're doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. Like, I get off on waking people up. Like,
Yeah.
I really feel like, and I don't know, like, if this sounds cuckoo, but we going there, because this is just a good talk. I'm enjoying this. Um, I don't know if you understand what I'm about to say, but I feel like sometimes things happen, and they happen because they're messages that are only for you, or
Yeah.
for people who are on your frequency. Give you
Yeah.
an example. So it's 1999, and my brother had a broken leg. He was a cop. He broke his leg on the job. I think he was doing motorcycle training, and what he went
Mm.
from sniper training to motorcycle. I don't know. My brother's RoboCop. What the fuck are you gonna do? And he was like, yo, have you seen The Matrix? And I'm like, nah, I ain't seen The Matrix. He's like, oh, you gotta sit down and watch this shit. So he puts it in, and I'm watching it. And literally, there's a kid. Now, my brother's last name is Cotman. We have 2 different fathers, but my
Mm-hmm.
father raised him. But we have the same mama. And, we're very close. And watching the movie, and I hear this, Mr. Anderson. And it's literally about a guy unplugging people from a machine that they don't even realize they're plugged into. Now look at my life and tell me who that sounds like.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I
Like,
can see that. Yes.
and it's just like, and then there are people who will fight you to go back to the system.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Oh yeah.
that's the thing. And the crazy thing is, even though you got to fight all these people, sometimes the people that you are trying to save, even though you're bucking the system, and people don't get it because you're telling them you can fly and you can dodge bullets, and they're like, I can't do that. You know, there is satisfaction when I unplug somebody and they get to know what it is to breathe for the first time. Remember when they were pulling all the shit out of him,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, why do my eyes hurt? And
It's the
Morpheus
first
said,
time you've seen light.
how many people are walking around not realizing that they've never used their eyes?
The scary part is you can show somebody and they can actually do the thing that they don't believe they can do with you and still turn around because they built their identity out of that space and go back to it because what you're doing and what you're showing me is just too much.
Yeah, you hate to see it. But yeah, man, like I get excited. Here's a question.
Hmm.
You and your wife
Hmm.
have, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, but I think it's important for people to understand. You and your wife have gone through something that most people can't even fathom.
Yeah.
When I had this conversation with your wife, and it literally brought me to tears, because when we were talking about it, you guys losing your son, you know I looked at my youngest, and I'm like, you know, I can't even,
Yeah.
and what your wife said to me was, she was like, oh, I'll talk to people and they'll say, oh, little Jimmy's, marking up the wall with crayons. She was like, what I wouldn't give to clean up crayons on a wall. You know what
Fam.
I'm saying? Like sometimes we just want to sit down and I'm just like,
Mm-mm.
my kids get on my nerves, and I'm so happy they're here to get on my nerves.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's the thing. You want to know the hardest part. Um, I think it was maybe 2 weeks after CJ's life celebration.
mm,
And we were still in Austin.
mm,
Um, and there was a couple who got arrested for torturing and killing their kid. That same week, the same week, another lady uh, left her kid in the trash can, and somebody found the kid and they were able to save the kid.
Jesus.
And we're sitting there, and it was one of those things, like, you know how, like, when you buy a car, all you see is that car
Yeah,
all of a sudden?
everywhere.
It was one of those weeks. Every fucking kid I saw looked like my son. All I saw, all I saw was little light-skinned ass babies with red hair
Everywhere.
everywhere. That's it. It went a dark-skinned, white, Asian, Mexican baby in the entire city of Austin, Texas that
And I
week.
lived in Austin. I lived at 360 in Mopac over at
Yes. Yes.
Riverstone Ranch, and beautiful place. I loved Austin. The food was phenomenal. But when I was still doing stand up, and I haven't done stand up now in probably a good 5, 6 years.
I
Um,
would pay to find a video of you doing stand-up.
oh, bro, like anytime I'll hop on the stage in a minute, but because you don't lose it if you never stop. But the thing
True.
of it is, I used to do this joke, and I say, the great thing about being in Austin, like in Philly, you can't go 5 minutes without seeing another black person.
Mm-hmm.
See, 2 seconds. I'm like, in Austin, you can go 5 weeks and not
Without
see
seeing
another
another
black
black
person.
person.
It was so bad. The Applebee's close to South Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I went to that Applebee's, and it was just me and another person. And there was a black couple that came in behind us, and the waitress, the hostess was like, "Oh, so four?" And because we hadn't seen no black people, all four of us sat together.
I love that.
So when
I
when
love
you
that.
when you tell me all you saw was little light skin, like, yo,
Look,
that's whoo.
there's a city called McAllen that is 2 hours past the border
Hmm.
between Texas and Mexico,
Right,
2 hours south.
right.
Still counts as Texas.
Hmm.
There were 20. There were about 20 black people in the entire city. We all knew each other. It was one of those things. It was like finding water in a desert.
Bruh.
You're walking through the mall and you're like, Prince Hakim, I'm a loyal citizen of Zamunda. Look, it was the crazy. Like, I went from an HBCU saying I am sick of you black people to, oh my gosh, please, please, please tell me what Little John music you're playing in your car right now. Just please say something offhand and ghetto. Please, just, I begged for it. I begged for it. Yeah.
Oh, God, please say the N word in a way that I actually appreciate.
Right. And I
Oh,
tried not to. I tried not to say that on you
I
on the
understand.
live right now.
I
Just
understand. I understand. It's all good. But so w- during this crisis,
Mhm.
because this didn't turn into Chad fixing my life. During this crisis, what can people do right now to activate hope? What do you have for
So
people?
one of the first things that you can do, and probably one of the best things that you can do, is to sit down and say to yourself, all right, this is my life now, at least for the foreseeable future. What do I want it to look like? So you're going to spend some time with expectations. You're going to identify what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you don't identify it's like getting in an argument with your new spouse about why your clothes are all over the place when you didn't know that was something they cared about. That was an expectation. Or why didn't you put gas in my car? My dad used to do that. Well, you never talked about that. Well, I didn't even think about it until you didn't do it. Unspoken expectations. So what are your expectations?
Mm.
You know, we just tend to walk into situations thinking they're just going to flow naturally. So let's sit down and figure out, okay, this is what works for me. This is what doesn't. I'm used to going to work. I'm used to doing a routine. Getting out of the house actually helped me do this, that, and the third. So what about this worked? And how do I recreate some version of that for myself so I don't go crazy? So I still get what I need. Because what's happening right now with a lot of people is they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. So if I can't do this, I'm just not going to do anything.
Mm.
You know, if it can't be unicorns and roses, then it's all pig shit and trash. And there really is a happy medium.
Mm.
So when you're just sitting in, it's either all or nothing, then you're definitely just going to have nothing but you got to shower. You don't just wash your hands, wash your ass. Put on some fresh clothes, shave. Do the same things you would do if you were leaving the house. Make yourself feel like you're doing something. Get out of your house and walk around the house, do laps around the house. I don't care what it is, but let's actually live life. Just because you're stuck in the house doesn't mean you have to be stuck in life.
Mm.
Let's figure out what you need, actually spend the time to write it down, come up with some type of plan and way to recreate so you give yourself at least the minimal amount of those things that you got when you were out and about, when you were social. Really identify that stuff because you're going to miss it. You know something's gone. Let's replace it. Let's get some type of good substitute.
Love that. Love that. So, what do you have for people? How can people reach you? Give them all that good stuff, homie.
All right. On Instagram, hey Chad Harrigan. And that's literally the word hey in front of my name. Our website is youcanlivenow.org. If you go there now, the Trust Yourself course is going to be on there. Everybody that signs up tonight or in the next 24 hours will get it for free. After that, it's going to be 15 bucks, but it's an audiobook download with a workbook. And it's going to take you through 3 lessons on how to rebuild that trust in yourself and deal with that. And we go really deep into it. So it's going to be a lot. There's homework. You're going to get a real big course's worth of stuff for a little bit of money. It's going to be a lot of value. So at least that'll be something that occupies your time and helps you come out of all of this a whole lot better, knowing yourself more.
Love that. I love that, man. So you said youcanlivenow.org, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
follow on social media at Hey Chad Harrigan. That's HARRIGAN.
Yep.
Look at that. I'm spelling tonight. Ooh,
and you can follow us on You Can Live Now on Instagram as well. So, you know, you got to be everywhere.
Yeah. And I mean, what a timely thing to say. You can live now, because people really feel like they can't, function. Oh, life is changed. Oh, life is going to change. Life has nothing but change. Get into it.
That's the one constant in life.
Everything must change.
Hey. Raindrops.
Nothing stays the same.
R&B, pull you towards me. Come on, girl. That's it.
Right here, just yeah. This is
what
the
new
shower.
edition?
Shower.
Sunny day. Body roll. Oh, get it. Get it.
Okay, wait, right
Get
there.
it. Hit
two,
it.
two fat fools in the R&B group called
Exactly.
Big and Chunky.
Hey, I'm gonna
Thick and
start a strip
harmony.
club called the Chocolate Chippendales when we're done.
Let me tell you something, man. Look,
Mm-hmm.
look. With these tuition prices, I might be on the pole.
Listen,
Listen, I'm not
none
about.
gonna be none but fat dudes and thongs you can't find.
Hey, listen, right now, look, it's too many. It's too many men out here. Women, y'all have to. You have to deal with these slim pickings, and by
For
slim, I
real.
mean our fat asses. Oh wait, we both married.
Thank you. There
So
we go. Sorry,
thank God.
babe.
Oh, can you? Oh, talk about that real quick.
Mm.
Before we go, um, dating while Rona, like or after Rona, what kind of self work do people need to do? Just from
Right
the
now, listen, right now is actually the best time to do all the self work in the world because you get to do it when nobody else is around. You get to cry, snot, scream, have a nervous breakdown, deal with all your issues and shit, all the stuff you've been running from. And when you come out, you're going to be this whole, clean, collected person. You're going to be a little horny. So, pump the brakes. Don't get pregnant right after Rona and ruin all that hard work you did while you were by yourself.
Mm-mm.
But if you're trying to date and talk to somebody now, this is actually going to be a really good time to build that communication and that friendship. One of the biggest mistakes, because, okay, I'm going to say this and it's going to sound really mean, but Dave, you know me. So too many married people are soft as shit.
Oh,
Too many people are getting divorced because they're a bunch of pussies
uh-oh.
and they can't handle actual work, actual intention. They thought marriage was a TV show. You've been watching too
It
much Love
is.
at First Sight.
It's Survivor.
It's Survivor. Thank you. But the thing is, you get all these couples that they fall in love with the warm and fuzzy feelings. They don't actually go through anything. So I don't have time to see you when the hard stuff happens and know how you respond and know how you handle stuff. And then we're knee deep in a relationship, we're engaged or we're married, and all of a sudden I'm waking up to this next to this psychopath who's either abusing me, stealing my money, or God knows what else is happening because I didn't actually take the time to get to know you. This time right now, you get to know somebody without the sex involved. It doesn't get to cloud your judgment. You actually get to find out who a person really is because they're going through stress.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be lonely. They're going to be stressed out about whatever's going on, about not having a job, not having supplies, whatever that is. God forbid a zombie virus break out and we really see some shit.
Bro, I'm ready.
Don't get vaccinated. That's all I'm saying. That's a whole other conversation. Don't get microchipped. That's all I'm saying.
There ain't gonna be no chipping around here unless it's like
But
sour cream and onion,
thank you.
barbecue, dill, salt and vinegar. Y'all not
Ranch,
putting no microchips
Cool
over here.
Ranch. But that's the big thing. What would you say, babe? Oh, Lexi's right here.
Hey, Lexi.
Hey, yeah, get to know and just be friends. Understand who they are.
Yeah. Understand who they are, be friends. You ain't got a choice anyway.
You really don't, because like
You really don't.
yeah, and like what I'm saying, like it shocks me how many people, like prior to Rona, I can't speak to what's going to be happening post Rona, but it shocks me how many people just be hopping in bed with people without getting them results. Like, oh, we going to the doctor.
Bam.
We going to the. I need to know.
Bam.
I need to check them T cells, young partner. I need.
Bam.
I want
Look,
that B2K, bro. I want to find out if you got any bumps. Like, I
thank
need
you.
to know.
Thank you. I can't tell you, look, and this, I can't tell you how many calls from friends that I've made here in the city,
Mm-hmm.
and they do that. Man, I'm so glad those results were this, that, and the third, and not that. And
No.
that's how they start the conversation. I'm like, nigga, what were you doing? Sorry. What was you doing?
Right.
Who was you with?
Right. Why you gotta worry about some strings? That's the oh God. When I got married, I was so happy. Not that I was holding
I
around.
could not date now. Oh, dating is horrible.
Yo, it's not even like, you
Oh,
know how the old people be like, it's cheaper to keep her. My whole thing is, I don't got time to train nobody.
no, thank you.
I don't want to.
Thank you.
I keep
I worked hard on this one.
like, yeah, because you try to fry my eggs, I'm gonna smack you. So like, let's not even get into that.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Or you don't do that
mm.
thing I like. You know, or
So
you
like
don't understand.
the emotional baggage that people have nowadays, you know, um, it's like the entitlement, the daddy issues, the actual psychopathy, that folks are crazy. And this type of stuff that the type of things my clients will tell me and when they're looking for relationships or and all this stuff. And I'm just like, you really tell me more about why you think Smurfs are real and how that's supposed to work.
Right. So tell me what it's like to slide down a unicorn shit pile.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's not just young folks.
It's all folks.
People are fucking out of their minds right now.
Oh, yo,
Oh
you know
my
what's crazy?
God.
You know what's crazy? They got like old people Tinder.
No, shut up.
No, I'm dead at like my mama's in it. You know, my mama's, um, she's single now. My daddy been dead. And she shows me like these profiles of these people who be trying to shoot they shot, and it's like they ain't even put on no, like, not for their profile, like for your profile picture you should try to put your best foot forward. Oh no, Snaggletooth Jenkins don't care. He got a can of Schlitz malt liquor bull, got like one tooth here with a sign on it is a gold tooth, and it says next to 3 miles that way. You know what I mean? That's how big the gap is. You know what I'm saying? You got people got like bald spot right here, but the size is like bigger than George Jefferson. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Like the confidence they have, and I'm like, how do you
because they
show?
don't care anymore.
Nobody cares.
You
People
don't
just.
care. They're not about that bullshit. Do
I
I
think
do
Corona.
you like me? Do I like you?
Let's.
Can we share dentures and some tapioca? Let's just just call it a day.
You're dropping right in, man.
Come on, girl. Here, come on. I gotta eat my meat. You ate my half. Give me the top teeth. I'll just take the top teeth right now. I'll make it
That's it.
work.
That's it. That's it. Let me get some watermelon. But yeah, I'm just amazed that people just don't want to put in the work, and it's sad to me. But I think that this is the time. I think, and that's why I think Corona has been a blessing, not only for people who need to start their
Mhm.
businesses, but people who need to reconnect or spend time with their kids, people who need to get their fucking priorities together. But I think it's a really good time for people to realize that the one thing that we have been missing from society is actual legitimate connection.
You just gave me an idea.
What else is new?
So, um, when I coach couples, one of the things that Lexi and I went through after losing CJ, we talked about divorce and all this stuff, and we had to rediscover ourselves and you know, our entire marriage, we've worked on communication because I'm big on that. I run my mouth for a living. But with couples, a lot of times you get two people, pretty much a relationship is taking two strangers, throwing them in a box, duct taping it shut, poking holes in it, and tell them go get along forever. And that's pretty much what marriage in America is now. If couples can actually stop and just figure out their communication style, like love languages, but for communication. And I have couples go through this process, and we don't talk about topics. We're not going to talk about what you said, what she said, the tone you used it in, none of that shit. We're going to actually get really extra remedial and foundational. This is the type of communication I respond to. This is how I interpret this. When I say this is what I mean. And really get to understand that. So we teach, because the thing is, you teach people how to treat you, teach your spouse how to communicate with you. The thing is, that requires that you know how to communicate with you. So now, look at that. We gotta have some self-work and awareness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's too much of this assuming, making an ass out of you and me,
Mm-hmm.
because I just assume you're supposed to know how to deal with me. I don't know how to deal with myself. It's not your partner's job to make you happy. It's not your partner's job to figure you out. It's your job to figure you out and then teach that partner. And it's your partner's job to do the same for you. So if we could put out a program, I can put that out and make that a course for people to have,
Mm-hmm. I
and
love it.
just walk people step by step through that process, the conversations to have, learning how to have difficult conversations, how to figure out what you're trying to say, who you're talking to, how you're trying to say it, so that what you say lands on people the way you heard it in your head. Because it's too much in my head. I meant this. Well, you said that. Well, that's not what I meant. Well, why the fuck didn't you just say what you meant in the first place? Turns out I actually don't know what the hell I mean. I'm just running my mouth right now. Well, why don't we stop and figure that out first? Then you start talking. Because talkie's so good.
You know
But
that.
right now you piss me off. And we're just doing that to each other, back and forth and back and forth.
Right. And then it just becomes Venus versus Serena in the last round of Wimbledon, you know, and that don't get nobody nowhere. Listen, bro, we could be on here all night
All
again.
night.
Tell them where to go one more time so they can get at you, brother. This has been a phenomenal.
Instagram, hey Chad Harrigan. The website is youcanlivenow.org. The business Instagram is youcanlivenow.org. I'm in the same place on Facebook. Same thing on Pinterest. Chad Harrigan on LinkedIn. I would put the hey if they let me, but they won't. So
they won't let you. I already know. So listen, bro, it's always good to talk to you. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. This was good.
Yeah, no, this has been fun, man. See, people got to know stuff.
Yeah, this was really good. The whole conference has been good, though.
I'm happy that we can make it happen, bro. So I'm happy folks are enjoying it, and hopefully, the replay numbers have been incredible. The live numbers have been solid. So, I'm thrilled with it. If it helps one person, get out of their own way and make some things happen, then I did what I set out to do. Because I just want to help folks.
Yeah.
And that's that, man. So I love you guys.
Well, I rock with you.
Kiss
Love
back
you too,
for me, and we'll talk. We'll talk soon.
All right. See you guys.